Hello, everybody, and welcome to Eden Fractal. Thanks so much for being here and watching. I hope that you enjoyed the event and the episode. I have the pleasure to be here with Rosmari and Tadas and three new people to Eden Fractal, Alanas and Evaldas and Easy. Had the pleasure to meet Easy at last week's Optimism Fractal event, and he's doing great things in music and Web3. And Alanas and Evaldas are founders of Dialexity, an AI tool that we'll be diving into today. And of course, we'll also have time for an open discussion about the Fractal ecosystem too. So hope that everybody has a great time. If anyone wants to say a quick hello or anything like that, then feel free. I have a presentation ready to introduce everyone to Eden Fractal and the topics on the agenda, and then we'll get into the presentation from Evaldas and learn more, and we'll have an open discussion. Sounds good?
Yep.
All right, cool. Sounds
Sounds
great.
good.
All right, all right. I like the sound of that. So, welcome to Eden Fractal. We've been building for the past 4 years, 3 years or so, with the Eden community, working to build better processes for collective decision making. And today's event will be diving deep into AI-powered coordination. As I mentioned, uh, Evaldas will be sharing how dialectic AI could enhance DAO collective decision-making processes, as well as provide an overview of the Dialexity app, and that's working to empower critical thinking with dialectic AI. I think we'll also hear from Alanas as well. They're both co-founders of this project, I believe. So you can always follow Eden creators on Twitter or X and other places to follow these and like and share and so forth. There's a little description here of how we're going to explore how Dialexity combines advanced language models, LLMs, with dialectic reasoning to provide deeper insights into complex issues, such as mapping out complex ideas, seeking balanced perspectives, fostering deep understanding, transforming conflicts into insights, and enabling win-win outcomes. Dialexy.com is where you can learn more about this. And also, there's lots more going on in this Twitter thread, too, where you can learn more about what we'll be discussing today. If you're not familiar with Eden Fractal, check out edenfractal.com. Eden Fractal is a community dedicated to optimizing collective decision making through collaborative research, development, education, gamification, and community engagement. We're working to help communities coordinate in ways that are fair, fast, and fun. And we host biweekly events that bring together governance leaders, builders, anyone interested in growing communities to explore better coordination systems, including both theory and practical implementation. So everyone's welcome to join our events, watch our videos, and explore our blog to learn more about how you can help your community thrive with these amazing tools and processes. We have a vision here that I kind of explained already, that all communities and organizations have the tools and methods to make the best possible decision making. And we're specifically aiming to actualize this vision with our mission to implement fractal decision making processes throughout society. Fractal decision-making processes operate kind of like plants, have they branch onto fractal patterns to maximize growth and resilience. Fractal decision-making processes enable groups to form into smaller groups to make the best decisions possible. We do lots of work with this with the respect game and other processes. We're building tools, several people in the community and hosting events and so forth, all about fractal decision-making processes and the respect game. Everyone's welcome to join these weekly events, as I said, to network with talented builders, learn about these powerful ways to grow your community, organization, and so forth. And we produce videos of each episode too. So we have over, I believe, 115 videos from our bi-weekly events that you can watch to learn more in the videos tab there. And you can explore the Optimistics Toolkit to see a bunch of fractal apps that you can use with your community, open source applications to improve decision making for your society, community, and so forth. So feel free to reach out, get involved with the events, join the Telegram chat, and so forth. EdenFractal.com. Invite friends to the calendar, to the event page. Loot up Masters Optimistics, where you can register for weekly email reminders. And Eden Fractal is presented by Optimistics, a team of builders that's working to grow these fractal decision-making processes, mostly in the Ethereum ecosystem. And we host other events. On the alternating Thursdays, we host Optimism Fractal and Optimism Town Hall events as well. People are welcome to join all of these. You can learn about how Optimism Fractal works and uses fractal decision-making processes to respect game at each event, and invite everyone to join all these great events that we host, and hope that everybody has a great time with them. We're also excited to share the newest Eden Fractal episode that we had 2 weeks ago, where we talked about innovative reputation systems using the respect token and so forth, educational board games focused on fractals and the respect game, and community coordination tools. Lots of updates that we discussed, and Rosemary's been doing an awesome job of providing updates in these threads. So this, of course, is on YouTube where you can watch it, and you can see all the great updates from the ZAO community, employing fractal community processes, and the videos and so forth. So encourage people to like and subscribe and watch and help spread the word about all the great communities and people who are doing amazing things in the fractal ecosystem. And of course, you can also find these at edenfractal.com/videos, where you can also click on that and find timestamps, show notes, and so forth to learn more about everything we've been up to over the past few weeks, few months, and few years now. And there's also a blog where you can learn more about a lot of these processes for an introductory overview to the respect game and so forth. Lastly, I mentioned before we get into the topics of the day and community agenda, all the tools that we build are open source too. So there's lots of open source tools here for playing the respect game and making decisions with respect to, for employing these fractal decision-making processes. And optimistic.io/tools is the place where you can learn about these and see documentation and see the apps that you can use. Some community news that I want to share before we get into the topics in the agenda. So one is, oh, I forgot to move this, but I shared this post a couple days or no, a couple weeks ago that I'll be attending ETH Denver 2025 and hoping to connect with members of the Fractal ecosystem there, as well as anybody who's building on Ethereum or building better decision-making tools and AI tools and so forth. So I wanted to mention how I'm thinking about canceling the next week's event or the next event that's coming up in 2 weeks. If anybody has any input on that or something you want to discuss or anybody's interested in guest hosting or anything like that, then let me know. But otherwise, I think I'll follow up with a chat message, and we'll skip the next one on Thursday, the February 27th, and then return 2 weeks afterwards, and we'll be back. We'll still do the Optimism Fractal next week as well. But curious to hear everybody's thoughts about that and hope to see you at ETH Denver if anybody will be in the area. And also, I did publish a research proposal over the past 2 weeks since our last Eden Fractal event about the Optimism Fractal Respect Game, research into democratic fund distribution and capital allocation with the Respect Game too. And we had a great discussion about this at the Optimism Town Hall episode of last week too. So encourage people to look into it if you're interested in using these fractal decision-making processes to allocate funding and allocate capital to fund public goods or anything like that. There's a whole bunch of great stuff that we discussed in the past meeting for the Optimism Town Hall, which you can find at the optimismtownhall.com and explore more. We actually discussed that over the past 2 weeks, and Abraham put out a nice tweet kind of summarizing some of it too there. So for today's agenda, oh, that's where that slide was. As I said before, we'll be exploring AI-powered coordination with Dialexity with Evaldas and Alanas. So I already provided a little overview, but also provide a little preview. I know Evaldas has some slides that he can share as well, so I'll pass it over to him in a moment. But first, just wanted to quickly show you the website. This is dialecticsity.com, which is a project that's I think fairly new, as Alana said. I'm curious to hear exactly where it is in the life cycle and what the vision is, but I had the pleasure to explore it. And Tadas had met Evaldas and Alanas over the past week or two, I think. So thanks Tadas so much for connecting us and inviting them over here. And yeah, really excited to learn more about Dialexity, working to empower critical thinking with dialectical AI, and providing dialectical reasoning techniques to create tools that provide deep insights into complex issues that can be helpful for self-help, mediators, for consultants. We also have a kind of a test use case or an analysis of how it could be used by DAOs as well, decentralized autonomous organizations. So very curious to hear how this will improve collective decision making and so forth. They have a few tools, argument inspector, text reframing, and mindset mapping, and they're open to partnerships. And so saw if Aldis was very excited to share and speak at Eden Fractal and take part. And yeah, they have a blog and lots of cool stuff that you can check out as well. Mission to shift perspectives and a vision here. So anyway, I encourage people to check out the website dialecticsity.com to learn more. And then also they did have a cool video on YouTube too that I found. I don't know if I put it up here, but yeah, there's also a cool video that kind of provides a little introduction. But anyway, I suppose that's probably a pretty good introductory overview for Dialecticity. And feel free, of course, to add anything. I'm sure that I only gave a very high level overview there. So I also want to welcome Zal too, founder Zal Fractal. Thanks for joining, Zal. Hope you're having a great day. And yeah, if anybody has any quick comments you want to share, then feel free. Otherwise, we'll pass it over to Evaldas and Alanas to provide an overview for us of the work they're doing with Dialecticity.
Yes, so I'm gonna take over, right?
Yep. Take the reins.
Don't know if you see my screen share or not.
Yeah, it says loading, and now it says improving collective decision making. So I think we see it well.
It says the right thing, the relevant thing. Yeah,
Sounds good.
thanks for the introduction. We are, as you said, early stage with our developments, but we spent a lot of time developing it. Alana spent maybe like more than a decade in looking into dialectical method, and I joined him a couple of years ago. We joined forces. We discovered that AI is really useful in coping with reasoning in a way that a human is struggling. And this in dialectics, it's actually putting yourself in your enemies, in your opponent's shoes. And that's why we created Dialexity to solve this approach. And we believe this improves decision making a lot. Yeah, we'll cover in this presentation one DAO situation, but let's go step by step. So win-win strategy using dialectics, what it is. In a nutshell, it's finding a teacher in your enemy, right? It's like summarized saying, it's you can find a teacher in any enemy. You can the coin has two sides. All these things about duality. It's all about dialectics. And what we did is Alanas actually did it. He formalized the dialectics in a way that it's a framework which we can program, which we can algorithmize it. And we squeeze that framework, a philosophical method, imagine, into a head of LLM, of artificial intelligence, and then it starts becoming, a good advisor. And it helps us to, on any concept, situation, or problem, it helps us to uncover hidden risks, understand our obligations, and construct a roadmap to success. So risks and obligations means that if I am in a conflict with somebody, let's say we're trying to make a decision somewhere, I'm confronting someone, my risks and obligations towards my opponent are important, and the opponent's risks and obligations are also important, and both sides need to meet somewhere. And dialectics help with that. So one use case that we analyzed was coming from LavaNet community. They are building great stuff, enabling agents and all this stuff on blockchain, of projects on DeepIn and so on are using it already. And they had this vesting schedule, which was supposed to unlock token holders, the tokens of Lava for token holders already this year. But then they discussed internally within the community. There is a link to the discussion in a forum that, okay, let's extend vesting schedule. And you can imagine what happened. A lot of people who invested started to really go against it. They wanted to cash out, and like it happens in crypto, you cash out and run away. When you're selling, the price goes down. But Lava community also is about communities. They wanted to keep the people inside, So when they have tokens, they are locked in. You can showcase that you have a bigger community. And probably due to some technical issues, they decided to extend vesting. And the decision was made by voting solely. So some argumentation was happening in the forum. So we were discussing. But then we analyzed this argumentation, and it was full of biases. We have a little tool to check biases, and so the argumentation was biased. Voting decision was yes. So you can imagine that a lot of people were just not happy, and that's what we're trying to resolve right here. And how could we do it differently besides this yes/no? You are doing it already differently at Fractals in this branching structure with little teams and so on. But how people normally approach decision making, they do it with a quick fix mentality, the first item. And the second item, win-win, and third, multiple opinions is what we propose. So quick fix mentality is the mentality when you say, let's say in Lava community, it would have been extending vesting schedule or not. If you have only this dilemma, let's say, you can and everybody say, let's discuss about this problem a bit deeper and come up to another solution with another solution. And this happens every day. Let's discuss it and let's find another solution. And then everybody says, yeah, very nice solution. Do you agree? Yes, we agree. That's a nice solution. Let's vote for this new solution. And then after voting, you basically end up with another solution where a lot of people are not happy. And one solution that could have been here, instead of extending the schedule, could have been 25% unlock immediately, 75% unlock later, and give them some benefits just to stay calm. This could be another approach instead of lock on lock, extend vesting schedule or not. And this we estimated this new quick fix could have been satisfactory for only 60% of members. So again, you see this quick fixing a problem with another like a narrow-minded approach is still creating confrontation within the community. So 40% of people would be unhappy. Now, if we go our way with dialectics, we approach both sides, because duality in this problem, where extending the schedule or keeping or unlocking now is actually we want to approach two things which are confronting. One is protect the value of the token so that price doesn't go down. And we want to keep the trust of the community so that they don't run away. There are these two problems, and with quick fix mentality, we only fix one. It could have been, the other argument could have won, which would be only about the community. But the argument about protecting the token value won that at this time. And now, if we would take these both oppositions, like protecting value and trust protection, this is where our algorithm kicks in. Because to protect value, you need to take care of not losing it, and what steps could you make for it, and then to protect the trust or the community mentality, you somehow to keep them in but still reward them. And we came up with these two solutions, and we employ AI for finding these solutions. Maybe they are very fancy, very complicated to discover, but AI is very good at it. So we have algorithm to evaluate both sides, and then it finds on both sides pluses, minuses, and we end up with a roadmap which is like that: protect value like with this path, like it was previously with a quick fix, and then additionally protect the trust by giving some liquid staking derivatives and some other goodies. And now this AI itself, the AI that firstly proposed the quick fix and evaluated the satisfaction rate would be 60%. Now after running through our algorithm, it offered this another fix, and now we have this fully fledged win-win. And now it says 90% of members of the community would be satisfied with this approach, where it's serving both, community and value of the token. And that's where we add the value to the decision-making process by looking at the other side and giving this win-win. So this is basically Dialexity employing dialectic method. Now this little wheel at the center is what we call a wisdom gem or a dialectical wheel. It's a summary of what we're talking about in a conflict and what could be the pathways of resolution. It's a semantic graph just visualized as a wheel. And we can enrich this wheel if there are multiple opinions. Let's say people are discussing the decision making normally, is not like yes, no. People have arguments for, against, and this branching structure of argumentation, and still you need to come up to some solution. But solution that serves everybody will never be yes, no. The solution that serves everybody will be a contract among everybody to serve each other. And we can squeeze that into a multi-step roadmap. It's another dialectical wheel. Here on the right, you can see the third, which we can automatically and iteratively create constantly. And then, like in politics, you sort of vote for this or for Republicans or Democrats, let's say. But with our approach, you would be voting for a program that Democrats or Republicans are putting up. And these arguments would be coming into one semantic network. And then decisions that are coming out of it would be valid for everybody, because they would include even minorities' requirements. Majority would need to comply with some obligations that serve minority, and minority would understand why majority is thinking that way. So this is what we're enabling. And that's it, actually. The most important part is this duality that we capture, and the satisfaction rate that AI gives by itself after reasoning a bit through our method, AI, the same AI that give initially a stupid or let's say a quick fix, now it says by itself that yes, this approach is much better. And it could not come up to this approach by itself. It needs a reasoning method like people do. So this is what we offer, and unfortunately, Lava community and not other communities in also in societies, they don't use dialectics. It's too complicated. It's too complicated for me to think about what if I'm Democrat to think what good in the Republicans, department, and vice versa. This is very tough. If we take this neutral decision making, um, which is supported by AI, then everybody just looks at the arguments, and then by using the method, they somehow are cooled down, and they can think about win-win situation rather than yes-no situation. Yeah, and that's all I wanted to say. And yeah, one more thing, yeah, I'd be glad to connect with you. We're waiting for connections. We want to meet people in crypto, especially as we are thinking of wisdom mining protocol as well. So wisdom mining protocol would end up into imagine some uh, advisor that you don't have as a person, but you have as artificial intelligence. And we call it like synthetic wisdom production engine. Wisdom mining is creating these dialectical wheels automatically just by inputs. If you are facing some problem, let's say, you don't know what to do, you're overwhelmed. Normally, in that situation, you go for help. And now you could receive that help by automatically working AI agents on different nodes and coming to a consensus that this advice to that person is makes sense because it takes into account different angles, and that's actually validated by dialectical framework. Yeah, that's what's coming up eventually. And Alana, maybe you have something to add, what I missed?
Let me see. I was not all the time on this call.
Mhm. Yeah, so
But
anyway, guys, if you have any questions, just go ahead.
the part which I saw was pretty complex compared to the easygoing atmosphere before this uh, presentation. The point is this. A small prehistory about how we got to those things. Uh, Basically, some years ago, I discovered a simple method how to uncover the deeper meaning of every statement, every word. And this method is very simple. You take antithesis of this statement, basically an opposing view, and you look for the positive side of it. Basically, everything has positive and negative side, which we know by heart, we know without any algorithm. We can say what is good in this uh, development and what is bad. And dialectics brings just semantic relations between those statements. It basically shows two sides of the same coin. And when we use those semantic relations, we suddenly can design for any concept, anything that we think is valuable, we can design a dialectical wheel, which is sort of a roadmap showing the hidden sides of the statement, risks, goals, obligations, and what actually to do if you really believe in what you say. So basically, every statement can be converted into dialectical roadmap. And if we have many people with their statements, with those small roadmaps, all of them can be automatically combined into a success story. Even you take two enemies, you can show a success story of their collaborate of their coexistence. Even in our white paper, we just took Israeli and Palestinian conflict. We took initial statements of the two sides. And we constructed a simple dialectical wheel with lots of transition points, which is, well, I say simple. It is not that simple. And it can be made more and more complex. But the point is that you can get a success story even in the most difficult situation. Now, I'm not saying that this is panacea and this will resolve everything, because human nature is not that simple. But this basically shows, especially in the times of AI and blockchain, dialectics can actually show the way forward. I think like this. If anything can be made good of the existing technology, is enabling dialectical thinking. Because for centuries, dialectics was used as a ruling and manipulative tool. Dialectics was an art of ruling people. That was from Aristotelian times. Hegel introduced the idea of synthesis so that two oppositions can produce something together, something new, some qualitative change. And with the advent of AI, we show that the conditions for the synthesis can be semantically determined, and basically AI can become a facilitator for people to achieve win-win situations. And what Evaldas was showing, the Slava case, it simply shows that AI finds a symmetrical solution. Not like AI on its own shows a solution, quick fix solutions. But with dialectics, it shows another side of solution, like equalizing. And yeah, so this is the idea. Dialectics equalizes.
All right. Thank you very much, Alanis. And thank you very much, Evaldas. If there's anything else you want to add, then feel free to provide more detail. I see Rosmari giving some claps right now. So thanks so much for all the great work with dialectics and the great presentation. Also, if Tadas, all easy, if any of you has any questions or comments about dialectics and things, or the dialectics and dialecticity and the things that Alanis and Evaldas shared, then feel free to either unmute or just ask it or raise your hand or ask in the chat too. We do have about 20 minutes left scheduled. We got a bit late start, so we can also go a bit further to if we want to dive deeper into dialecticity, and also would love to give maybe Easy a chance to introduce himself to the Eden Fractal community at some point as well. Maybe show a bit of the work he's been doing, and have some type of open discussion about fractals and so forth as well. So. Yeah, I see Tadas raise his hand. I see Easy unmuted too. So maybe we'll go with Tadas first, and then Easy, if you want to speak next, then that would be great. And also, I see Evaldas and Alanas are still unmuted too. So feel free to share your thoughts along the way as well. Tadas?
Yeah, so first of all, great presentation. Really understood it better than the first time you explained it to me. Yeah, and one question. In Lava case, you showed satisfaction levels, percentages. How did you determine that?
By AI, by Claude. I simply uploaded that discussion from the Lava site, and basically uploaded that discussion and then asked for advice from Claude Sonnet. And then basically I developed all those different scenarios. And then in a new session, I uploaded all of this and asked for probabilities. Basically, that was AI generated.
Okay, curious to see like how would it translate like in reality, like. But of course, that's hard to.
Obviously, in reality, everything depends on the smoothness. How do you implement? Because when I started imagining, okay, what does it take to realistically implement all those solutions? It's a big hard work, offering put options, say that was lava case. I don't know how well they are organized, disciplined, and so it takes stamina, it takes discipline to offer those solutions and then follow them. Basically, this is like a bureaucratic effort. It's not easy unless it is fully automated, but then audited, someone has to support that system. So, but at least, you know what? If during the discussions, those possibilities would have been brought, I think stakeholders would achieve much better satisfaction and understanding of their own options, what is possible to do here. Because now what they did, they major stakeholders, what did they do? They broke their promise because they saw that market conditions are different now. Okay, so we no longer care about our word. We more care about economic situation, sort of. And so basically they screwed smaller stockholders. Whereas if they would have considered those options. So I don't know. This is a guesswork. But what I want to say, with this method, we applied to those scientists. There is an organization, ISSS, International Society for Systems Sciences. And this organization basically cares about various conflict resolutions, peace talks. And when I approached to them with this method, this was, how to say, obviously these guys are not making friends with AI. But that was mind-blowing for them because for the first time they saw the systemic approach of how to make a peace. Because right now, peacemaking is not a systemic approach, it's not a science. Peacemaking is right now is not even an art. This is like a stoic game. Whoever is more patient, basically, like in Lao Tzu saying, if you are at war, you simply wait until you see your enemy flowing in the river. There is also Sun Tzu, who is more active, the art of war. But basically, peacemaking is not a science. Whereas with this method, it becomes a science. And there are other applications of this method. Applications that are, for example, you take any artificial system, even four-stroke engine or self-driving cars. We have those case studies. And you apply exactly the same system, but instead of human statements, you analyze functionality of every element. And so you can see the missing control elements. You can see the missing loops in the artificial systems. You can see the missing steps, because there is a huge difference between artificial systems and organic systems, live systems. Organic systems are very well interconnected so that failure in one element is taken care by the interconnectedness and preparedness of other elements to play around and self-regulate. Whereas in artificial systems, you don't have this interconnectedness. And dialectics provides what? Semantic criteria for finding the critical element, critical control factor for any given element. If I have some engine, by its functionality, we can find a critical factor that actually controls that engine. And when we interrelate all the elements in a given system, we can give advices how to make the system more robust and more self-controlling. So there are some interesting applications leading to real money making, business world. Our problem is that we're only two guys with basically very novel approach in systems thinking. And this is like, what do you do when you have such a powerful method, but it is so, it seems too big, it seems too remote from us. For example, during 2 years, we were developing this application, Argumented Spectre, but we didn't find the real users. We were targeting this Argumented Spectre to mediators, thinking that, oh, mediators are the guys who make the peace. But actually, mediators don't care about dialectics. They only care about how to force those stakeholders to cut a deal, basically, which is different from peacemaking. You know, they're playing manipulative game, like business game. And so now we are thinking, okay, we have to reposition our method so that it plays together with AI, because like when we started developing, AI was not that good, not as good as today. Like 2 years ago, GPT was not very powerful. And we positioned that GPT simply enables dialectical method for reasoning. But while we were developing, GPT and other AI modules became much better. And now sometimes they provide much sharper reasoning than our dialectical method. So then we decided, okay, then we have to reposition our algorithm so that first we give AI a chance to make an advice. And then on the top of that, if the user wants, he can get a more existential and strategic view, because AI is usually oriented towards quick fix, actionable method. Oh, if you have a pain, go and do that. If you have this problem, go and do that. But this is not a strategic thinking. This is not a way of like Stoics, who first of all looks for solution inside and only then goes for help. So we decided that we have to take the advice of AI and put it into dialectical wheel to show that in the long term, you'll have to deal with antithesis side. So basically, we're still in some wondering and research how to position our method, to the real life, how to find the real users of it.
Yeah, but it looks like DAOs could be these real users, because you guys are solving same problem, and now we can somehow combine these solutions, and you have advanced, when you need it, you have additional sort of level of solving the same problem. And this dialectics helps when you are stuck. If you're not stuck, then you can find solutions easy. But when it's looping, somebody says that, some other said, and you get blocked. You cannot make a decision. You see that it's a big confrontation. It's more or less 50-50. Nobody wants to step into another person's shoes. And you need to clear this somehow, and you can only clear it by different arguments that bring confronting sides together. This argumentation we can generate automatically by following
But this is not just, it's not like pros and cost analysis or cost benefit analysis. It's different because it just makes a success story in the end. Whereas pros and cons, you can wait for a while. Or this cost and benefit analysis is also such a difficult story because, you could say that dialectics is a CBA for CBA. This is analysis before doing heavy analysis.
Hey, Dan, you have a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to. I had my hand raised because I want to make a note of the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
As I said, we could go past top of the hour, but I also want to make sure we haven't yet heard much from Rosmari and Saul and Easy. And I know there was some great comments in the chat. Saul has a baller presentation. Excited to see where this goes long term. Would be great to help support conflicting opinions in the DAO. That's a community. It's a DAO of musicians and creatives that Easy participates in. So it'd be great to connect you two. Rosemary had a question about how did you go about training Claude? I see Easy is unmuted now, and he was unmuted before too. So maybe we'll pass over to Easy now, and then Rosemary, if you want to ask the question out loud. I also have a lot of thoughts about this too that I could share at some point. But I'll go after everybody else goes. And then also, I did have a couple windows I could share to introduce Easy's work too, because he's done some really cool stuff lately too. So at some point, I could maybe share that. But yeah, I just want to make sure that during the scheduled hour that we have, that we have a chance for everybody to speak and share their thoughts, any questions, stuff like that. So first, I'll pass it over to Easy, and thanks so much for all the great discussion so far.
Thanks. This is fascinating. So I know a little bit. I've had a little introduction to dialectics because a friend and founder of PageDAO, which is a very early DAO bringing literature to the blockchain. Epic Dylan is his kind of Web3 name. Wrote a book years ago and then published it as an NFT book more recently called, I believe it was Informal Dialectics. It goes deep. He was like a majored in psychology and philosophy and stuff. So I kind of knew a little bit, and that's partially why this caught my attention. It seems like a great way to limit that somewhat erratic emotional response when we're doing decision making, and beyond just helping DAOs. If this could have been applied, over the last few years in general, just like Web3 platforms, there's so many that have gone down that I think just had very poor decision making and burnt through their funds in the course of a year or two when they had enough to go for like 5-6 years easy and get through this kind of rough patch. And so, yeah, I think this could be incredibly useful across the board. The things that were being brought up about, world peace and things like that, of course, but in a just kind of day-to-day usage, like you see so much I mean, if you kind of applied this to, like, I don't know, the meme mayhem culture that's going on, like there's so many different areas that you could sort of take this approach. And yeah, I think it's just super valuable and super fascinating to be able to have a tool like this and can be super helpful. And yeah, I've as a little introduction, I've worked from everything from literature on the bringing literature on the blockchain to bringing street art and graffiti to music, fashion, all sorts of stuff. I've been in this space for a while, so and I have a handful of passions. But yeah, this definitely seems like a great tool, and excited to check it out a little deeper.
Yeah, cool.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you, Easy, for sharing the enthusiasm and a bit of an introduction and your experience with dialectics as well. I saw also Alanas had answered Rosemary's question in the chance. How did you go about training Claude? And or I actually no, maybe it was Evaldas who answered that, and he said we don't train, we prompt it to follow reasoning structure, and the better the AI, the more it can help us. Yeah, I heard that going to be some big improvements with AI coming out soon. I heard ChatGPT 5 might come out in the coming weeks or months. So yeah, it's great to see the tools that you're building and how they can be integrated with these advancing models. Like also DeepSeek came out recently too. So yeah, like I said, I have some thoughts I could share, and I have some things I pulled up on screen too. Also, kind of like some general stuff. Like I was reminded uh, as we were speaking, I didn't totally remember what the word dialectic means. I was like, what exactly does it mean? And I pulled up a window. It said that just for anyone who's not familiar, and I don't know if we thoroughly explained it, it refers to a method of reasoning and argumentation that seeks to understand the development of ideas through the interaction of opposing forces and contradictions. And I remember I'd also heard people had compared dialectic to debate, and oftentimes debates, people are like aiming to win an argument of some sort, but dialectic is more so like the seeking of truth, basically, to find out maybe this person's got some points there, maybe this point's got some person's there, and they're like working together in this collaborative win-win format or like spirit, I suppose, to find the true answer. And I love all the emphasis on finding more peaceful solutions and also helping DAOs cooperate because I think the world really needs that, and it's great to use these tools for these purposes. So wanted to add that, and like I said, I have some other thoughts. I can share my screen and also start to wrap it up too whenever we're ready. But just some open floor time too. If I don't know if Rosmari you wanted to elaborate on your question. I saw Rosmari also shared the page DAO link, and Zal said seems really cool. But when I checked out page DAO, oh, it seems like it's not maybe active right now. And Rosemary also shared the book that Easy had mentioned, Formal Dialectics. Thomas, tell me, maybe I'll pull that up and more details about page DAO. And also, Zao said something nice before too about how and that's nice to meet the dialectic guys. You stumbled upon one of one of Zal's favorite communities. So yeah, really, I'm glad that everyone's enjoying it and have gotten a lot of value out of it so far too. Thanks for the claps on the heart, Zal. So yeah, if any of you had any comments about dialectics and dialexity or anything else on your mind, any updates or things related to fractals, then feel free to share. And then whenever we're ready, I'll share a presentation with some of my thoughts and can also start wrapping it up for us too. But we can also
I
look
have
at
one
stuff
more
now.
question.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the presentation, Evaldas and Alanas, for the awesome thoughts. I learned a lot. Another question I have is, when is a good time to implement such tool within a community or organization? Do you think it's worth exploring those options to sort of seek the truth in a conflict before a conflict arises, and or at a certain stage within that conflict?
You know, when other means don't work, usually there are two forces in this world: spontaneity and systematic. So I think that spontaneity should always go first. And only when it is stuck, then you start thinking about systematic way. Basically, dialectics is making circles. Spontaneity, you go to grab what you want. You go, you chase your desire. And only when you have problem, then you start circling like a shark around. And shark is doing dialectics. It looks from different angles and circles and circles until it finds the way. Basically, dialectics is making a spiral closer and closer to what you want. So it only works, it is only useful when other means stop working.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Rosemary, for the question and Alanis for the answer. Yeah, I'm learning a lot too. Does anybody else have any other thoughts or questions or comments you want to share before I share this presentation? Or I suppose if anybody gets inspired while I share it too, you can have another
Actually,
chance for last thoughts before we wrap it up. But
one other thing is that sometimes often in the life, we cannot spell out the problem, but we see that things are not going in the right way. Like almost modern, we feel that they are dragged somewhere not in the right way. People are not free enough. Still, centralized decisions are overwhelming, and it is hard to name the problem. And so here, dialectical analysis is also very helpful. When you don't see, you cannot name the problem, but you feel that not everything is going okay. Sorry for interrupting.
no problem, Alanis. I was able to hear most of it. If you wanted to repeat any of that, you can, but I think that we probably heard most of it though. Or if anybody had any questions on what Alanis was saying there, then feel free to jump in as well. And thanks for providing the additional details there and rationale, and see Rosmari put out the heart. Okay. Does anybody else have any other comments before I jump into this presentation? Of course, at the top of the hour, so if anybody needs to run off and has a hard stop, then feel free to leave or share any last thoughts here. But I suppose, yeah, feel free to jump in. But otherwise, I'll share some of my thoughts and give this presentation. Then we can have a last round of closing thoughts and wrap it up and send everybody on their way, I suppose. So today we have been discussing AI-powered coordination. Props to Rosmari for using some AI to coordinate a nice picture too over here, and with art and beautiful imagery and meaning and so forth. So once again, encourage people to check out the dialecticsy.com website to learn more. And also, I don't think we really got into it that much about how to actually use these tools, but I know Rosmari had shared the link to the app at some point, and there's several different tools. So you can see, like, for example, here's the argument inspector, which I believe it's interactive. So you can speak with it here and then see how it works. And then I also pulled up another AI tool, Perplexity, to search for dialectics. So if people are interested in learning more about dialectics in general, then encourage people to explore. Looks like there's some good videos about it and so forth. And it seems like a really, in addition to the tool Dialexity, the concept of dialectics seems like a great thing to further explore. As Alanas was saying, he's been researching this along with Evaldas, I believe, for a long time. So, and it's been happening for people have been engaging in dialectics for, I think, a very long time. So encourage people to just check it out and learn more. This is the book Formal Dialectics that Easy had mentioned. Thanks for sharing that that reference. I encourage people to check it out if they're interested. And yeah, I also want to mention here too, I'm particularly interested. I know Evaldas had mentioned, and Tadas and a few others had mentioned how this could help DAOs or DACs, decentralized autonomous communities. Communities are trying to be more independent and decentralized. And I wanted to also kind of tie this in with fractal decision-making processes, and also Rosemary's question a bit about when communities should interact with these. But we have this article about what our fractal decision-making process is, and also there's an article about fractal democracy, which is it's the main methods that we've been using to improve decision making for all. And we typically do this with the respect game, where we go into breakout rooms and rank each other's contributions towards common cause, and then we get reputation tokens and so forth. It's an awesome game. Encourage people to check out Optimism Fractal and Fractal and so forth to learn more. But probably most of the people here are familiar. But if you're not, encourage people to check out the articles. And then, yeah, I think that these kinds of AI tools for dialectics and so forth could be particularly helpful in complement with these tools for fractal decision-making processes and many other tools in the ecosystem as well, for better decision-making. So encourage people to check it out. And we have some articles here about explaining examples of fractal decision-making processes where the respect game forms the foundation. And then from there, you can form councils. And we have on-chain software such as ORDAO, OREC, and on-chain councils where people can make decisions together and so forth. So these are lots of kinds of primitives and tools and canvases that people can lay alongside things like Dialexity to maximize and optimize this decision making for all. And this is also based on Fractally, which is released a few years ago, aiming to be the framework for the next generation of DAOs too. So there's a white paper and the Morgan Lanmo's book about fractal democracy that you can learn about as well. So it's nice to see all these frameworks and so forth coming together, and excited to explore more. It'd be wonderful, Evaldas and Alanas, to stay up to date, and if you could update with our progress, and maybe you can join another time to give us some more updates as you make more progress and see what you do. And of course, you're always welcome to join our events and share updates and thoughts along the way, as well as would be curious to see if we can maybe help you with fractal decision-making processes and attract more people to building with dialectics. I remember Alana saying that having more people to help with this would be helpful. So it'd be great to help align and coordinate and encourage and help fund and so forth more people to engage in these helpful tools for building more peace around the world and so forth. So encourage people to check out the tools. There's like text reframing, and also this video too. I didn't share it before, but this provides a good practical example of one of the tools for navigating conflicts in Dialexity, where you could, like, for example, upload a email exchange between some people doing business together, and then Dialexity could provide options like mediation, analysis, and self-help and so forth. And then it can provide an overview of like what the conflict is, how to solve it, and the recommended mediation approach and stuff like that. So, and there's all sorts of different options that are built in here. So just want to give people that kind of practical example and understanding of it too. And there's different applications or different use and tools and stuff within Dialexity. But encourage people to check out that video on the Dialexity YouTube channel. And of course, tools like Claude are really helpful I've also been looking into MCP and stuff like that. I did, but before we started, I also pulled up a couple things I wanted to share in case people, I feel like people probably aren't familiar with it, but I've heard some relatively similar tools. Not they're certainly a lot different, but and a couple people have reached out to me. One guy named Paul, founder of SimScore, uses AI to transform community feedback into action instantly. And this is at SimScore.xyz. And Harmonica is an AI facilitated conversation to understand what your team users and audience thinks about a topic. So I'd love to learn more about how AI tools can be used in general and like what role each would play. I don't know much about these tools, but I've just learned and heard about them. So I'm just throwing them out there as some inspiration if people are interested in them. Also, another one called Polis, which I've been learning about. And then lastly, I also had a couple windows too. I wanted to give a shout out to Easy. He said he's very glad he made it today. And Rosmi said, "Me too. Thanks everyone for being here, putting some hearts up." So very nice. Glad everybody enjoyed it so much. And yeah, I want to give a shout out to Easy. Before we started recording, we were talking a little bit about the concert that he hosted with Jose, who had joined the Optimism Fractal last week when we all had the pleasure to meet. And Easy hosted a concert with Giveth online last week, a musician impact concert, and that was live in the metaverse. And he also has been hosting a show as well. And so you can check out easy underscore CBD to learn more. And he hosted a show on the Token Smart YouTube channel too for the Impact concert, as well as he hosted a Easy's Corner show that I'm looking forward to looking into and watching. So I encourage people to check this out on the Token Smart channel as well. And if you want to share any more details about this along the way, then feel free. But it seems like a good time. And also seems like some deep concepts too that he's been into dialectics as well. So encourage people to check it out. Check out the concert, check out the Easy's Corner. And also Zhao's been here as well, doing amazing work with the Zhao.com or the Zhao community. And the Zhao community hosts the Fractal meetings where they play the respect game on Mondays at 6 p.m. EST. They have a nice page here that explains how the Zhao Fractal works and how the respect game works and so forth with the fractal governance processes. So I encourage people to check it out and get involved and register with different communities in the Fractal ecosystem, as well as maybe I'll just wrap it up here too and say, well, we have Optimism Fractal coming up pretty soon. So of course you can go to optimismfractal.com to learn about this community dedicated to fostering collaboration, awarding public goods creation, and optimizing governance on the superchain on Ethereum, where we play the respect game and so forth. We'll be meeting for Optimism Fractal on next Thursday. I believe that's on the 20th. And everyone's welcome to join this. And then, like I said, stay tuned for the Eden Fractal Telegram channel, t.me/Eden Fractal. Maybe we'll share a link, and I think we'll probably skip the next one. But if anybody has any ideas or suggestions for that one, then feel free. And yeah, for next week, we'll have the Optimism Fractal and Optimism Town Hall at the same time. And then we'll return for Eden Fractal probably in, I guess, 4 weeks or something like that. And looking forward to hear what everybody thinks and all the progress there. So thanks once again, everybody, for the great meeting, the great event. This has been a wonderful experience. I encourage you to check out edenfractal.com to learn more about the Eden Fractal community, register for the events that I shared, and check out dialexity.com to learn more about these tools for dialectics. Does anybody have any thoughts? I know I mentioned your work a little bit easy there. If you want to speak out a bit more, then feel free. Or if anybody got inspired, then feel free as well. We should probably wrap up soon because we're 7 minutes past up the hour, but we can keep it going for a bit. So yeah, feel free. And then of course we could also schedule more time for a deeper dive into these things at a future event as well.
Just want to say real quick, everybody's invited to come over to the Easy Corner show. Like mentioned, I've been doing that every Monday. Well, taking a few days off for 5 years. And we go, it's casual. Sometimes we do have a special guest. We might go into kind of their journey over the course of a few hours. Sometimes maybe it's just an hour. We have a few topics. There's always some live music. But yeah, we could go from like meme coins or like AI into like metaphysics and, diving into like 432 hertz music versus 440, or we often make comments like, we're the cyber Amish and we're connecting, roots to the wireless. We do a lot of, kind of social impact stuff too, promoting, good projects where we see them. And so, yeah, everybody is invited. We'd love to see you there. And thank you for the shout out.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Easy. I see Rosmari clapping and giving the heart, and it seems like Alanas is happy with it too. It sounds good. It sounds like an amazing show. The Easy Corner on Monday nights. If you have a website there, I know I shared the Token Smart YouTube channel, but if you do have any other links we could share to dive in deep, then that would be cool. And then also I'll share the link to the Eden Fractal Telegram group for anybody who wants to join and get involved there, and feel free to share links and updates along the way there too. And then also Rosmari did mention too, of course, the video of this will be produced on the YouTube channel from Eden Creators and edenfractal.com/videos. And I see Easy just share the Discord as well to the link to the show. So that's in the Token Smart YouTube, Token Smart Discord. Okay, great. Well, encourage people to check it out. Thanks so much, Easy. Looking forward to collaborating with you and looking and learning more about your work and so forth. And thanks so much, Evaldas and Alanas, for the great overview and all the great work with Dialecticity, and Rosmari and Tadas and Zal for the questions and support and everything. Thanks, Das, for inviting Alanas and Evaldas. Does anybody have any last comments, or should we wrap it up? Sometimes we like to wrap it up with a 3, 2, 1, go fractals. Maybe we could say go dialectics and go fractals, something like that, while we're on the topic. So if everybody's up for that, then we can. But if anybody has any last comments before that, then feel free.
Okay.
I think.
Dialectics and fractals.
Okay, this sounds good. Okay, we'll wrap it up. Thanks so much for the great event today. Hope you all enjoyed it, and hope you enjoy the show, and looking forward to seeing you next time. That's it for this week's Eden Fractal. On the count of 3, we'll say go dialectics and go fractals. And 3, 2, 1. Go dialectics and go fractals. All right, thanks so much. See you later.
Thank you.